And there we go. Look at that. I think I just, yeah, I screwed you up, but that's okay. We can fix you. You're right there. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I know I was here this morning for 3 fucking hours for brunch, but now I'm back. I'm here again. I'm here with Fat Phil. We just finished up our TB Wave War last week, and we're gonna kind of debrief on that tonight, and I'm not gonna bury the lead because I'm not somebody who's into the clickbait bullshit. I obviously won. There's no fucking surprise there. I thought I was gonna kick the shit out of you, Phil, but you scared me. So I will say you put up a really good fight. We're gonna talk about it. We've got your punishments coming up. We have a video that I filmed earlier today with my wife burning the Wampa outside safely. So I'm super excited about that. How you doing, my man?
Dude, we are good. We're living the dream. You know, I will say I shared very similar sentiment that I was very much hoping that you would have beat me by a lot more than you did, that I can't just complain that you have an easier territory battles plan than I do. But bet's a bet.
You know,
I'm just
go ahead, man.
I'm just glad that I forced you to have to, like, I mean, I think you played well. Obviously, compared to my roster, I played almost perfect. But I'm just glad I pushed you to the point that you had to do some things that you were not very happy about. Not that I didn't have to do the same thing, but I feel like you had a lot more of that than I did.
You know, it's interesting because, like, there were things that I never wanted to do. So, like, DTMG to Relic 8, I had said so many times, never doing this, never doing this. I hate this guy, I'm never doing this. And now that I have him, I've found him useful even in GAC. When I do insights or like GAC counters, they'll be like, oh, DTMG is the counter to this. I'm like, wait, I have him now. This is excellent.
Dude, I actually use him a lot to counter things. He's really good against Qui-Gon even.
Against the Omicron?
Like, yeah, Qui-Gon, Omicron, Jedi Knight Anakin, Cam. Like, I've had it where, like, Jedi Knight Anakin will delete my sides, and then I just use the special, bring everybody back, and it's full banners.
I'll have to keep that in mind because I'm still a lightweight in GAC, and I often still will use Bad Batch and Hope and Pray. Please don't destroy my whole team, which is dumb of me, but I do it a lot more than I'm willing to admit. That was probably the worst one for me, was the DTMG. Everything else, I think, wasn't too bad. You know, Spectre, obviously, I was always going to take that to
Wookiees was a rough one. That was definitely rough.
And I was scared with that one because you took, I think it was Vandor Chewie, right?
Yes.
And he's the one with the revive, and I was a dumbass and didn't take Vandor up. And so going into day 3... I was like, oh fuck. I really have to win this battle. It is the only battle that I remodded for. I didn't remod for any other battles, but that battle I put on all GL mods on all 5 of them and said, just please give me the waves that I need.
Yeah, I streamed that battle, and I told everybody, I was like, do I remod for this? Because I'd never done it. So I was like, do I remod for this or do I just do it? And I think the only like remodding that I did was I might have put some like smarter mods on Zalbar.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm like looking through them now. I feel like I put some like heavier defense stuff on him, but I didn't go crazy with like the GL mods like that.
Oh, I had to. Because I didn't have the revive. So it was very and it was scary. I was like clenching my butt cheeks going, oh shit.
It's not even the revive, it's the enemies deal 25% less damage when Chewbacca's buffed. I feel like that's the bigger one, because it even just keeps you from, like, losing anything.
Yes. It is helpful, and I thought about bringing him up, too, and just, like, biting the bullet there. I chose not to, and I hoped and prayed, and I think if we were closer at that point, I think day 3, you were 1 wave behind me, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
I actually have the scoreboard up on my side to kind of read off of. If we were tied, I probably would have. I'm glad in retrospect that I didn't, because I did manage to win the battle. I will say, so if I go day by day here, just as kind of like an overview, and people can see this on my Discord if they want to. Day one, I was up 1 wave, right? You, I think, lost the fleet battle. You were on my stream when I did mine.
Yeah, I had to like walk in there. I wanted the fleet one. I just every once in a while I get that random drop, and it just happened to be the time that where I actually didn't
where you needed it. And I had taken, because I had done the entire phase on auto, and I had done the vote on Twitch asking if I should just try to get a perfect phase 1. And I think you said you were the only person that voted do it manually. Everyone else said, fuck it, go at auto. The auto worked, surprisingly. So I was up 1 wave there. Day 2, we were both had perfect days. Minus the fleet, right? And I don't even count the fleet.
I wanted it there because I felt like that was one of those where it would swing one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it would, like if you cleared it, it adds so much more pressure to me, and if I cleared it, it adds so much pressure to you.
See, my thought, because I know we were talking about this, and I was like, let's just not count that one. My thought is, because there's nothing that consistently beats it, I didn't want the battle to come down to just random chance. But if we weren't in agreement, fair is fair, and that was what it should have been, right? So we went after it. We both lost it. Neither of us did geos because neither of us was insane. But you did message me that day and scare the shit out of me. I don't even remember what the message was, but you're like, oh, I can't wait to do the geo mission today. And I was like, oh, fuck, do I have to Relic 6 my geos?
It's a Relic. I'm pretty sure it's a Relic 7.
Is it Relic 7? I was ready to do it.
I knew I would at least get you with it, and then you'd like go before you would do anything. You'd probably go check. At least that's what I would have done. But yeah, mine are gear 12. Like,
well, you know what it was? You and I, we like to screw around with each other, but I don't think either of us is malicious. So I knew if I asked you sincerely, you would have, and you did. You were like, no, I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah. I'm like, because I don't know, where I like drew the line for myself was I was like, I don't want either of us to do something incredibly stupid for this, because we both like want to build for this next raid. And so everything that like I did outside of there's a couple where you're like, but even like the Wookiees, my argument would be Zalbar, I at least have the option to build the mission Omicron. I mean, I need to relic her, but that's not the end of the world. Like, I can at least stomach Zalbar. But like, I didn't want to go to the length of like, I'm going to destroy everything I'm going to do in the future to try. Because I thought you'd be much further ahead too. So I wasn't, looking back, I should have done geos.
Well, I think, in the end, it wouldn't have mattered, right? Because I think I had 4 waves on you, total 120. What's the overall? I didn't even update the overall. I only had that in the thing.
Hold on.
I have it here. 124. Oh no, I just have the day 5 here. I didn't ever update the day 6 in the day breakdown.
I know I sent it to you, or I've got it on my phone.
You did send it to me. And I think I posted in my egg notifications, not in those notifications. But I think I had won by 4 waves, if I remember correctly.
I had 132, and I had
136.
136, yeah.
Yeah. But so day 3, we both pretty much had perfect days again, right? 29 waves each.
Yep.
That
was legit perfect.
That was a completely perfect day. We both did everything. Day 4, I had a couple extra combats on you, right?
Yes.
And I had a couple things that I had available to me that you didn't have available to you, so I was able to get 2 more waves on you.
That was your Dark Trooper Moff Gideon.
That was my Dark Trooper Moff Gideon that I had done the TB before. And then day 5, I fucked up my day 5. Like, there were a few combats that I was like, what is going on here? And you ended up catching up with me. So I remember going into day 6 and being like, we're tied. And people were saying, oh, it's rigged. Like, they did this on purpose. And meanwhile, I was like shitting my pants. I was like, oh, fuck. This sucks.
I was messaging you day 5 as I was doing my missions just to like add it onto you, and I did my Haven ones, and I'm like, good God, I just need to get perfect on Haven. If I can get perfect on Haven, I'll be a happy man.
No, I had a bad day 5, and I was really, really, really annoyed with myself. I don't remember the exact missions, but there were just some where I did like 0 of 2. My Night Sisters went 0 of 2 on a mission, which I knew they weren't going to do super well just because I have to platoon a lot of them.
Yep.
But I usually am able to get at least 1 wave in that day from them.
And that's
it just
bonus.
Didn't work.
That's your bonus day on Haven.
That's my bonus day. No, day 6 is my bonus day.
See, I count your day, the
Oh, yeah, okay, I get it, my extra day.
Yeah, like, because you're doing it without ops, so it's your bonus day.
Yes,
day 6 is the equivalent of my day 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Without ops, that's like, and other than day 6, I did all of my days without, actually, day 6, I did most of it without ops. So all of the days, I did everything pretty much right away, no ops in there. But day 6, being tied, it was Saturday of Easter. I was at my in-laws' house. My father-in-law is a big hippie, and my wife convinced him that I wanted to take a gummy with him. So I got super high with my father-in-law, who I really don't do that stuff often. It's very, very rare. But he's like an introvert. He was very excited. So I was like, all right, sure, I'll do this. And I was sitting on their couch high doing my battles. And it just wasn't working.
That led to your Leia drop, right?
My Leia did one. Yeah, my Leia did 1 wave on which I've never lost that battle before with Leia. Ever. She has never lost on Mandalore except for that day. It was disgusting. I was so pissed off and I was so nervous. And I was like, I was updating you as I was doing each combat, and you hadn't even started your combats yet. And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Is this asshole just not going to, like, let me know how he's doing until tomorrow?
I legitimately, when you sent me your wave count, you were at 133 originally when you stopped. And you said, I have room to go to, like, 130. I think you said 137.
Yes, that was my hard maximum, but I needed
to. Or you're at 133,
wait.
And you're like, I could go up to 137. And I was like, okay, I can just, because I was 1 behind you at that point. And I was like, I cannot tell him, go Relic 9 Lord Vader, and just hope he doesn't do his other missions.
I was always going to do the other missions.
Right, and that was the thing. I was like, but I don't want to do this and then still lose, because then I'll be super pissed off.
Yeah.
And so that was when I messaged you and was like, all right, go do those and tell me what you do. And I'm like, I'm a gentleman in telling you that I'm not going to just try to, like, back alley stab you. Yeah, but I was like, if you screw up, I will back alley stab you. But if you don't screw up, I'm not going to go for it.
But that was always the thing, right? We were always in contact the entire time, and it was a very gentleman kind of thing. And I ended up getting to my 136, and you're like, all right, I'm not going to do it because there's no way I can beat that score at that point.
Yeah, and I thought what was funny is when you would tell me your drops, I wouldn't say I wasn't excited, like in the sense of, hey, you dropped, but I'm just like, what did he do?
I was high. I was sitting on a couch just like, oh man, but the reason I did it, because normally I save those battles for brunch, we were getting so close to finishing certain planets that I did not want to wake up the next morning and not be able to do planets. So I was like, oh, I have to do them now. Like, I have to get these things done. There was no option for me.
It's very interesting to hear you say that, because that's the way I was with like my guild's Mandalore, where I went in and did like everything possible as soon as it opened up in the second day we do it, because I could not afford to wait around on that.
And normally, like on a normal TB, I don't care. If we max something, fine. I don't have to do the battle. Like, that's one less battle I have to do. It means next time I just make a note of it and I make our goal just a little bit less. That's fine. But for this one, I needed to hit everything. I think the dirtiest thing that I did this TB on my end in terms of upgrades, believe it or not, was actually taking Quadme to R8 from R7. And I know that sounds kind of dumb, because a lot of people do for R9 for the raid. But I wasn't doing that. I already hit the score I wanted. It was kind of a useless upgrade to me, though I have found it nice because now I can do the R8 tier, do it one time, get 2.4 million without refreshes or retries, and now it de-incentivizes my 3-man team. So I don't need to max my 3-man team anymore, which has made my rating so much easier, and it has been a huge quality of life, and I'm very happy about that.
See, it's funny, so I've done the 3-man for the longest time, but I'd always have to switch mods around, and then I took my R2-D2 to Relic 9 for Ring of Khafreen, and now I use him in the Battle for Naboo raid with the Quadme trio. No need to remod, max score every single time off of one run.
So the R9 tier is easier, I've been told, than the R8 tier, just because of the specification of like whatever it is. But I don't want to take her to R9. Yeah. I'm in my other raid.
I will say this for your that's a team that gets me 2 out of 2 on Ring of Khafreen, and we're there for.
There will come a point. There will come a point where I do need to do that. I don't need to now. I said this to my guild after TB. I was like, listen, guys, a month ago, I told you guys I want everyone to increase their useful waves by 10. So everything day 3 on. I didn't care what day it was in, because they'll all help us on the preload. But your useful waves by 10. I was already a top 3 TB earner at that point. I was not in the group of people I was talking about, and I still managed to increase my waves by like 15. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm done. I don't need to raise anything for TB right now, unless it has another purpose. The guys on the bottom, they can do it. That's on them.
Like Wombat.
like fucking Wombat. Who wanted to, he was like, oh, I'm competing, guys. I'm going to compete. I'm going to do it. I'm good, guys. And I don't even remember what he got, but it was nowhere near us. And he was doing, oh my God.
I feel like because I love Wombat, obviously. This is only like half of a troll. But I feel like what he didn't grasp was, and this is something that I learned from this TV, is the difference between 120 waves and 130 waves is monumental.
Yeah. The amount of crystals you have to spend.
Yes. And even resources. The level of perfection it takes. I was, it sounds so weird, but I dropped 2 battles of all the battles I attempted, I dropped 2 waves.
Yeah.
And they were both fleet missions. I will never have that rate of probably that rate of production again.
I was nervous.
I do not think I'll ever have that rate of production again. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just the truth. There's no way I will ever be that consistent. And again, with my guild's plan constantly changing, I'll never hit that wave total again. But
I'm not doing phase 1 again. I'm going back to no phase 1. And within the next 2 months, I'm not doing phase 2 anymore either.
Yeah, so it's funny. My guild really loves TB. And I don't know, it's kind of, I feel bad sometimes because there's guys who built like the Relic 8 Dark Trooper Moff Gideon team.
Yeah.
To use on Mandalore. We closed that off in Phase 5.
Yeah.
So in Phase 5, you have to use this team on Haven with Enoch. And I feel bad for those players because they did it when we were really trying to push everybody to increase their wave counts, and now we're kind of like, no. You got to use it here in a much harder, and you've got to have the Omicron. And so, like, I try not to deploy in phases 1 and 2 so people can just get waves and participate.
See, I as an officer and as the TB guy, that's generally me too. I'm usually the guy who deploys in the last 10 minutes, and that's not like I'm just the preloader. I'm the person that is reliable and there to like walk things up. So day 1 and 2, it is very rare that I am able to even get a deploy in. But I don't look at those waves. Like, those are useless waves to me. They're useless waves to my guild. I only care about day 3 on. And I also care about my time, you know? So, like, next week, I'm not doing phase 1. I got work. I got shit to do.
Yeah, I just pushed us to stop caring about phase 2.
Yeah.
Because we had people who were building Geonosians.
Yeah,
or like
there's no reason.
That question. Yeah, and we're like, no. Like, we maxed this with, like, 50 million to spare.
There's no reason
do not
at
build
all.
Your Geos.
All right, so
and it's even the same thing. Even the same thing with like my Hondo and Young Lando. Like, that does nothing for my guild other than bloat my GP.
Which, you know what, it's fine. I use Hondo sometimes. Young Lando, I don't. Young Lando sucks, but it's fine. So our agreement here was our only part of our agreement was if I lost, I would R9 my Wampa. And if you lost, you would have to do a TB Omicron. And that TB Omicron...
Well, I gotta cut you off. I need you to keep talking, but I'm gonna go get another beverage.
A beer. Well, I'll say thank you to Darth Link, who's been around for a while with us. And cheers, buddy, for those messages earlier this week about these TB wave wars. So I appreciate that and the constant and consistent support that you've given me. And I also enjoy that you're in the Keblock Club because I'm a big fan of him as well. I don't get a chance to watch his streams often because he does them when I'm working, but I'm a big fan. He's a nice guy. Considering the Geos... don't do Geos, Nana. Don't do it. They're not worth it. At all. Man, it takes Phil so long to get his cheap ass piss beer, whatever bullshit he's drinking tonight. I don't know what it is. I'm drinking a Guinness. I never was a Guinness drinker. And now I am. I don't know why. I kind of enjoy... Oh, I gotta go get the Wampa from outside, actually. But I'll do that. I'll do that when Phil gets back. Yeah, I try not to message him, because I don't want him to feel too pressured, given the stuff that he's going through. But I did message him and let him know that I'm there if he needs to chat. I like him. He's just a really cool guy. Oh no, he's drinking much cheaper than Bud Light. He's drinking like Steel Reserve. He sent me a link once where it was like $20 for a 24 pack, but you also got a free 24 pack with it if you bought the 24 pack. And I was like, man, I buy good beer. I don't know what this shit is that you drink. Oh my god. Uh-oh, did I see something in the background? I think there were headlights outside Phil's house. Oh, man. Ba-da-da-da-da. I'm stolen it. Boo-doo-dee. Everybody's going live. They're doing their GACs. I'm halfway. Hey, Kanan. Yeah. I won't R9 my JML is one of my favorite videos, and we're doing another one. We're doing, it's called 1 Cup, 2 Cup, Relic Cup, New Cup. We're in the middle of writing it now. Big fan of that shit. So Phil,
Sorry for
yeah.
the absence. One of my cats missed the litter pan, and it was getting a bit obnoxious.
I got cats too. They're constantly throwing up, dude. Like anytime I'm busy, they're like, "No, I left this present for you. Enjoy.
Yep.
Clean this shit."
Yep.
So our agreement was a TB Omicron, and again, I've had people on my side say you should have made him do one of the shitty ones, but we're not mean to each other. So we agreed, as someone who has no TB Omicrons, that it should be a useful one so that you can no longer say, I don't have any TB Omicrons. So you're going to be doing Captain Enoch, who is, it looks like, on the screen now. I believe you intend to R9 them as well to make them useful. Is that happening?
Yes, I can at least do Enoch tonight.
Okay, but you're planning on doing that the whole team eventually.
Yeah, the whole team's gonna happen within the next week. Because like I don't need them. This was the thing, is like I don't need Enoch's Omicron to get, like, I use this team on Dathomir already.
That's what makes this so special.
Without the Omicrons. So it's gonna be Relic 9, you know. Yeah.
And it's going to help you. This is the nicest a person could be to you, because once you have them Relic 9, you're going to be swimming in droid brains, and you're like, wow, this is great.
This pains my soul.
Oh, it makes me so happy. He can no longer say he has no TB Omicrons. From now on, he has to say, I have one TB Omicron, because Egnard's fucking made me do it.
Dude, this is like that's one of the more painful upgrades I've ever done in my life.
Oh my god, it should have been either way, like an R9 Clone Wars Chewie.
But again, like, what's the purpose?
Just for the fun of it.
But yeah,
no, I don't know. Can you even take him to R9? Do you have enough green? Oh, you do. Okay, I just can't read.
I literally have the exact amount I need.
Beautiful. I love it.
And now I have no more.
I love it.
Right. I intentionally was saving that for you.
I love it. I appreciate it. What are your thoughts on the PP event not coming around for over 3 months? That's not true. The PP event has come around.
Yeah, it's a monthly.
Peridia Patrol has been around, right? April starts together. I'm telling you right now that if it didn't come around, people would have flipped a shit. People would have fucking flipped. Peridia Patrol. Yeah, it came around 4/5, April 5th. It's called Imperial Remnant Peridia Patrol. And let's see, March 2025, event calendar. So it came around on 4/5. It's been once a month since the beginning. Assault battles on 3/1, on 4/5. Do we have a May calendar up yet? 2025 Star Wars calendar.
I doubt it, but like you can almost go to the bank that it's gonna be soonish. When did we get Battle for Naboo or the Duel of the Fates one last?
I can check the April calendar. I just had it up. Is this April? April. Duel of the Fates is in a couple of days, 4/30.
Okay, so we might have to go back to March to figure out. I'm trying to figure out if they try to do it like.
So, from what I've seen, I don't know, maybe with these two they do that, but with the other ones, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason. Sometimes you get two of the same one in a row if it's like beginning of month, end of month.
Yes, I've noticed that too.
So, now, the other thing was that I promised that we would burn a Wampa, which I'm super excited about. I went outside today. I filmed this with my wife. I had to explain to her this whole thing that was going on. And then I'll throw up my screen for a second too. But I had to explain to her everything that was going on, everything that was happening, what we were doing. She looked at me like I was weird. She was worried about me burning the house down. Luckily, we had a little like tabletop stove that we got for free from a vendor. It was like a vendor thing for her job as a in corporate. So we were like, you know what, we'll use it once, we'll burn it. We had no fuel, so I had to go out and get like cardboard and like sticks and shove them in there and try to get this into this stupid thing that's supposed to use wood chips and just hope for the best. And while I turn that on for you to enjoy, I'm actually going to go outside and get the Wampa because he's sitting on my porch. So enjoy this lovely video of your Wampa being destroyed. Well, I said I was going to do it. Phil and I, we did our TV wave war, and he lost because he's a piece of shit and the shittiest TV player that there is. I've got this lovely little fire burning. It rained yesterday, so I wasn't sure it was going to work.
I want to go on the record and say that Wampa is not charred near enough.
He's going to burn. We're going to see what happens to him. You say that now. Just
it's not charred. I was literally. Have you ever seen The Dictator?
I think I brought my tongue. Yes.
That when he's trying to burn his beard and it won't ignite, that is literally what I was picturing you doing with Wampa. It's just like it refusing to light on fire.
I'm gonna show you the Wampa in a minute.
In the fire.
Dude, you didn't get it on right.
He's starting to look like a marshmallow.
He has such a big fucking head.
Dude, those poppet things are a menace.
Such a big fucking head.
This motherfucker's never.
Like he just.
It's not as good as
That's gross.
Not as good as
Sorry,
this one.
Phil.
I'll burn that one
Guy.
too.
No, dude. All right, great story about this
I
Wampa.
can see his ass is
Is
burnt to a crisp.
my wife was at this like antique store,
Doesn't look too happy.
and she's like, "Look at all these old Star Wars toys," and I literally am looking at it, and in the bottom corner, all I see is
All
like
the plastic fumes.
MPA. And I was like, you need to go back. I literally zoomed in on it and I said, go buy this box. And it was it came with a little Luke. And then it had the Wampa in it. And so I was going to keep it still inside of the original box. Like I still have the original box. And Wampa was still, Luke had been played with. Like he doesn't have his lightsaber and stuff. But the Wampa literally was still inside of like all the packaging. Like it had never been removed from the box before.
From the package. Because
Yeah.
that kid just
And then my
wanted
daughter's
to be
like-
Luke.
And my daughter's like, Daddy, are we
Well,
going to play
Phil,
with
you
him? And I'm like,
learned
no. He does not get
you
played
don't
with.
fuck with
Like, no.
ignorance.
You're one of those dads who's like, these
We're
toys
your
are for
mascot.
looking at.
Yeah,
Gonna
yeah.
go.
Like, listen, I get you plenty of other things. We don't need to ruin this.
Movie's starting to go up. Look at that shit.
Oh man, this was some of the most
have a
fun that
fire
I ever had.
extinguisher?
My wife filming it, she's looking at it like, what are we doing here? Like, why
Probably
are we
thinks-
doing this?
I don't know if she thinks that I'm weirder or you're weirder.
Oh, she definitely thinks I'm weird. So, here's the Wampa, by the way. His head is here.
You just gave him a suntan.
It's just kind of like he's completely charred, right? It ripped off. Like, it just dissolved his neck. And his body is actually crumbling. He's on a paper towel right now. He looks like a charred up marshmallow.
Dude, it looks like the perfect marshmallow too.
It's
That's a
like-
marshmallow that I'm eating.
This thing is like State Puff Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. It is some crazy ass shit.
Your opponent has been chosen.
The funniest thing is this thing a friend of mine bought for me years ago as a gift, and I used it just to piss you off. And it's worth it. I had a lot of fun doing that today, and we ruined a neat little stove doing it, so that was also worth it.
Dude, that stove, that's like a solo stove, isn't it?
It's like an off-brand solo stove. Oh, now I have like Wampa char all over my hoodie. Oh God.
Oh, of course.
All right, so that's over. We have some stuff coming up in the future. I know we've talked about doing some stuff with GAC, and we'll see. I had said to you, obviously, you're ahead of me in GAC right now. We'll have to figure out like a fair way to make that work and be reasonable for both of us.
Just make Kyber 1.
I'm getting there. I think I'm going 3 for 3 this match. I'm making it work.
Jeez. I wish I could go 3 for 3.
I did so bad in my 5s though that I like have to go 3 for 3. Like it's pretty disgusting how badly I am. What is the top? Oh, I have my game up, don't I? Well, while we're talking, I'm gonna mess with these sources a little bit,
Go
and
ahead.
that way that I don't have to sit on Discord on the screen. So you're gonna get all weird for a second. If you want to unshare your screen because it's no longer up, and then I'll fix this source, and
all good.
We'll talk about that stuff, and I'll fix your head in a second.
It's all right. My head's...
But let's see, where are we right now? I am 33.75. I will probably win this one. What, we normally get like 30 points, I think.
I use 40. I think 40 is this. It's somewhere between like 36 to like 41. So I always just use 40 because it's a round number. Okay.
So I'll get there. I'm getting there. It's happening. And I'll get the Kyber 1 and we'll kick your ass there, or I'll lose and have to cry over some stupid. What's the worst you could possibly do? Make me do a GAC Omicron? Oh my God, I'm scared. Make me do something stupid like...
Hold on. No, I would not. Again, I would make you do a good one. It's just probably one that you don't want.
Yeah.
Probably make you do it on like Hondo. That'd be a good one. He actually has a pretty decent one.
I use him sometimes. I use him as like a throwaway extra for.
He goes inside of the Balin team, and he's pretty solid.
Okay, so. We talked about TB. We've got a lot coming up in the game. I know that you wanted to touch base on some of this era stuff. I don't know if... I think the next one is actually in-game, right? And is it? Yeah,
yes,
it is.
Yep.
One day, 15 hours left. What are your thoughts so far on this new era system with the battles? Now that we've seen it in... Let's take the bug out of the equation, though, because we know that the bug is being fixed, but we don't know if the next clone will be available early or not.
Yeah. So my gut assumption with this is that... So this first battle we're going to get, this first next one that's happening in like 2 days.
Yep.
The next clone is not available.
So you don't think that... you think that was a mistake?
No, I think we'll get it the next time.
Okay.
Because that's what happened with CX2, was we got the first era battle was all Oppo.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
The second one was Oppo CX2 because CX2 was released in game.
On like what? CX2 is released on game on like Wednesday or some shit like that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
And so my assumption is that will continue. And I think from their angle, with the bug, that's a mistake.
Yes.
Without the bug, that is the best case scenario for them.
Yeah.
Because it, in my opinion, being brutally honest of that event, that event loses value to a lot of players when those and how's the wording I want to use here? There were players who were banking on getting Oppo to a certain star level inside of these battles based on the fact that he would be the only clone available, or that it's a 50-50 of Oppo and CX2. And adding that you're going to get the new clone immediately, or like after in one of those, changed that for some players.
Yes, it did.
No, I think the bug took care of that. But it definitely feels a little bit like they, and I say they, I feel like CG made this a little bit less player friendly than it first seemed. Not saying that I don't think there's some really good aspects to this battle, because there is, right? At the end of the day, there is. I don't like the difficulty. I'm going to be very honest. I think the difficulty is ridiculous.
You know, I have like I don't know the right word for it. Like you and I, we talk about this stuff a lot, and I'm always laughing at you and going like, "Oh man, we got to get on like a live and talk about this," because we think so alike, but then also are fundamentally so different. Yes. I never really expected for those higher tiers to be able to be beaten immediately. I think that would have been way too generous. Now, I do think the first two tiers should have been a little bit easier. My only thing with CG was that I felt like they did not communicate effectively to the players that those higher tiers were not going to be completable. And the only source of that information was the data mine. And the data mine is technically it's unofficial information. It's not information from them. It's something we find with a hacked client, right? So I think that was problematic, that they didn't effectively communicate that. And I got annoyed about that, and I wrote posts, obviously, about that. I do think that overall the process of them is fine as long as the communication is there. So I do think the Jedi one will go a little smoother because players won't expect to do them right away, but at the same time, there'll only be 2 Jedi. So I don't know how long that era battle is intended to be 2 times per week. I don't know.
If you go back, I think it's the same number as the clone one.
So it's gonna bleed into the next era.
That's my yes. Like so my assumption was. Let me look.
M3, I thought you were talking about my cat. I was like, I don't see a cat in my room. But I guess Phil's cat is hiding somewhere. I think you might be right. Because there's only going to be 2 Jedi for it. It'll be interesting to see how different it is, or if Mace Windu is going to be part of that. And make it so that the higher tiers are completable, and I think that'll be a really shitty move on their part if they do that.
Yeah, I'm looking now. I'm trying to look and see. They had that in one of the in one of their posts. They had like a timetable.
Yes, that was the update post.
Yes. So in that post, they had that whole like.
Let's see.
Or is it in CX2?
I don't know. It's irrelevant. It's somewhere there. I think you are right.
Yeah. The only reason I'm trying to go back to it is because I felt like it was a very good, like, hey, here's the way that this is going to work.
Yeah. So overall, it was 2 times a week, 4 times. 1 times a week, I think 4 times. And then they did say, and this was interesting, I think they said in that post, it was either there or somewhere else, where they said they intend to release them as one-off events every once in a while, right? So like eventually having those R9 clones, you might get just free extra awards.
All right, so we get we're going to have, so as soon as the first Jedi is released.
Okay.
We'll get 2 era battles, and then we'll get the next one, and then 2 more era battles.
Now, is it era and then or era?
Era, who the,
Leviosa.
Yep. No, it's the exact same cadence as the Clone Trooper one.
Okay.
Although it's not yet here. I'm gonna send you a screenshot via the Discord, and you can kind of share this with the or here I'll send you the post, and you can scroll down. But yeah, like I think it's the same number for everybody, which is good. And I think that gives perspective. What I find interesting is the rate you're gonna get the Jedi era battles is going to be it's going to seem faster than the rate at which we get the clone trooper ones because there's less Jedi and it's still the same number.
Yes. Let's see.
And so I feel if I'm a free to play looking in, the argument to make is you save your resources to go harder on the Jedi, knowing you can capitalize more from that era battle than you can in the Clone Trooper one.
Yeah, but again, my concern is I'm actually very worried that in order to do the R9 tier, for example, you'll need Jedi Master Mace Windu, and they're not going to communicate that to us. I'm worried about that. That shouldn't work that way. But I'm just because there's only 2 of them there. I'm like, is that gonna be a thing? You know, I hope it doesn't happen. And if there is, it'll create loads of content for me because that is my bread and butter. Is calling them out politely to where people call me a shill.
But you are a shill.
I am.
You're on the payroll, right? That's at least what the people. That's what the people on the internet tell me.
Did I tell you I went out Tuesday night and all of the people here? Maybe he's here. There's a guy on Reddit who makes Lego comics on the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes Reddit, and I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because it's really long, and he tried to make me pronounce it, and I can't. And it turns out we live within an hour of each other. So we met up for beers on Tuesday night. And so we sat down. I got him a beer. We're sitting outside. And one of the first things he says to me, he goes, "Oh, so you're a CG shill, right?" You piece of shit. You asshole. Very nice guy. Very friendly. I'll definitely take him on a second date. Especially, though, because he did make me a gift, which is a solo cup.
I saw that solo cup. The thing was sick.
Yeah, so I have that sitting on my mantle now. But that was fun. But I get that shit all the time. So that's my bread and butter content where I'm a little too nice to them sometimes. So if it happens, I might get more than 3 clicks. So I'm hoping.
But I think to be fair to Capital Games, I've always said I don't agree with a lot of the communication sometimes.
Yeah.
Now that's not, and this is never, I always say it's never a knock at Meathead for that because he's only allowed to communicate what he's told. And sometimes I feel that message gets lost on people. Yes,
I do think that there's a lot of people that do not understand. Like, he can't just say whatever he wants. Like, they don't realize that that's not how this works, right? Like, he has to go back and say, "Hey, can I say this thing?" And I just do not think a lot of people realize or understand that.
And so it's not really the fault of him. And so whenever I say CG, it's the people above him that don't like it. But what I think needs to happen is him kind of take some of the outrage that we've had from these events and show the higher ups there. You're going to get farther with honey than vinegar. The more information you give us as a player base, the better off you are.
It's tough because I agree. All right, finish your thought. I thought you were done.
Oh, sorry. Where I was going to finish with that is think of all of the people who spend money are going to spend money, right? Hands down. So you don't got to worry about your 1%ers or 0.1, whatever you want to call them. If you told someone, like people who, I feel like there's probably more people who didn't wail on these new clones because they were unsure about the era battles rather than wailed on them specifically for it.
Yeah.
That's at least the way I've always viewed it, is that you'd probably get more people to spend on things if you were more upfront and honest on what you're going to get in return for it.
I agree with you to a certain extent, and I had said that to Meathead when this was all happening, because I did make a Reddit post, and then he reached out to me, and we had a discussion about it. And none of this is his words. This is my take on it. But I do also feel like I think sometimes in corporate that there's these higher ups that feel like, oh, if we give certain information, it might stop people from doing a certain thing.
Yep.
What I had tried to explain to him a little bit was like, especially with my wallet, if I feel jilted, right? Like I cut off spending for months. And if I feel like I've been burned, I'm going to do that. And I did explain to him that I do think some people who are spending on this journey are going to feel that way. And it is going to cause a problem. So I do think there is a certain funnel of communication that there needs to happen and not too much information. But I do think the amount of information we got was not the right amount.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. And to follow up there, right? The timing with some of the news breaks. And again, I don't know how much Meathead has control of that or not, so I'm going to go with the side of he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it feels like we get a lot of stuff at once, and then we get no news. And then we get a lot of stuff at once, and then no news. And then there'll be like a very important piece of information that's released with like a character kit. And like I forget, there's one a while ago. I remember you and I talking about it, and it was almost like a sub, like it was like a post script.
That was punishing one
through the character. Yes, and it was like, this is the most important thing we've gotten. Like this is everything. This is deserving of a post.
And it might have been Balin in that post too. I don't remember. It might have been also Balin in that post. Yes, that was when people called it the trail ahead. They were joking that the road ahead was not enough info. And the problem was that on that day, a ton of information was given to us. But it was given to us across like 6 posts. And it just wasn't formatted really well, so it appeared like not a lot of information was given to us. And I remembered rewriting the whole post on Reddit, and people were sharing that and being like, oh, this makes a lot more sense now. I do think, but again, I don't know who writes those. Meathead is obviously the person who releases them. It doesn't mean he's the one that writes them. And
correct. Yep.
Once something is written, I am sure that, it goes through checks with the higher ups and the people in the monetization teams, and things get rewritten or taken out based on, whatever they say is appropriate to have in there.
Oh, I would love to know how many revisions those go through and what gets taken out.
I'm sure so many. I'm sure it gets written with all this stuff, and then they're like, "Oh wait, no, we can't put that in. Like, we can't do that. We can't tell. We can't tell them about that yet." And I do get it to some extent. Like, for example, new raid, right? If new raid information is given too early, then people stop investing in the old raid. So you have to be very careful about the timing of of news. But I do wish. I don't want to say I do wish we had more consistent information, because I do think the new eras system is designed to do that, where we get more consistent information. But it's still early, so we don't know.
I'd say, at least, I'm going to argue the eras leading into the next raid, I feel like it's very consistent. Mm-hmm. Before this one, I didn't feel that way. Only because, the Bad Batch was kind of this, nothing team. They're throwing them in the raid, but they're a nothing team at the end of the day.
I think that because it was the first full era, right? So the one before that was like a half era for Ahsoka. And they were going on vacation. That was like the December time. That's always dark. I think it was just really poor timing for them and unfortunate timing that whatever they planned for the Bad Batch and then said, oh, didn't work out, that happened on their first full era. And that kind of sucked.
Yes.
Because it set us up for disappointment instead of, oh, we've had all these great eras and this one's not as good. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, yes. Because this one, I feel like I have a very clear path of, hey, this is when the character's coming. This is when you should be expecting this. This is when you should be expecting that. And I also think the eras provide a really good framework, even for how I spend certain currency.
Yeah.
That, like the episode currency especially, I know how much I need to have on hand at the end of every week and, to do this or that. And I feel like it's brought stability to an economy that there could be a huge, I'd say like rude awakening for you. That if you tried to buy everything in that store, you'd very quickly realize that that's not what you were getting in your Galactic Challenges.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been, that to me has been the best part of it, is there is consistency to the resources provided and to the release of characters. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yes, and I've been excited for this. I mean, like, raid planning stuff is like my bread and butter. That's kind of like where I go, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to lock down. This is what my farming plan needs to be. Believe it or not, I don't do spreadsheets for myself. I know a lot of people do them. I have done more spreadsheets for other people than I have for myself, including you, right? The Zeta stuff. I was at work and I was like, oh, hold on. Let me sneak to the office and do this quick spreadsheet, like really, really, really fast, because this interests me.
That was so funny, by the way, that I was like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. And you're like, here's the spreadsheet, use this.
I was in my office. I was like, I could be working, or I could be figuring out the correct Zetas amounts for different characters in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. That's definitely where my time should be going right now. But I still like sit there and go, okay, this character I need to do this much with, this character I need to do this much with. I've been a little bit thrown for a loop with this group, because my raid planning originally was, okay, hey, as someone who's not going to put a lot of money into this, I do need to isolate my Bad Batch if I want to have an early start on the raid. Whether or not they're useful, I need to focus on them. I intended to completely ignore CX2. My whole goal was, hey, 5-star Oppo, so I can do the era battles, ignore CX2 completely, because he will be, I'll get some shards from him from the era battles. He will be farmable by the time the raid comes out. Somebody bought me the Ascension pack, so that has thrown me already in a loop where I have him. Now I just need a Swogadaddy that buys me the next Ascension pack, and I'll be in business. Yeah. But now I have to like seriously, I gotta like seriously think about clones. I'm like, oh, now they're like on the table, so I need these guys soon as well. Ugh,
it's 100% where I'm at. Is now I don't have a Swogadaddy, so
I don't either. I woke up and I was like, oh, it's Christmas morning.
But yeah, I'm buying the episode pass every single month, so I'm getting extra shards to hit those tiers, and then I'm buying the $5.99 pack.
I do plan on buying the episode pass for the next era, because I do think the 3rd and the 4th clone are going to be important. So that is something I am intending to buy. I won't go further than that. I'm not going to spend more on them. But You know, I do want to get these guys up and running as quickly as somebody can if their plan is like casual spending instead of like big spending.
And you're also, I feel like, pretty well poised for this team because if you do end up taking them to Relic 9...
Yeah, I probably will. Yeah.
I have a bunch of players in my guild who are saying, I'm going to take them to Relic 9 under Grand Moff Tarkin for TB, and then use Lord Vader's original squad for him as a Relic 9.
I don't know if I'll do that just because I don't have it in me to do that many R9s. You know, like, that's a lot of R9s. But eventually, when I have to do that, that might be the split. You know, obviously, Lord Vader already does really well in TB. So does he need the Oppo TB Omicron? Probably not. It's not one that I think I need to do right away. But if that split ends up happening for me and I need those extra waves on like Malachor, then yeah, you know, then I will do that. What was I looking at? Oh, I wanted to see my relic materials. I'm doing pretty okay on signal data right now, but I have nothing compared to you in my backlog over here. You know, but it's fine because I don't have anything to relic for weeks.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I don't even know why I have such a stockpile. I just do.
Yeah.
But it's helped in the sense that I can do a Relic 5 and not bat an eye. That it doesn't even phase me. Relic 7, the signal data hurts more than the relic materials do.
I would agree. I don't really find, like, right now I'm kind of low on that stuff just because of the TB Wave War. But I generally have a downline funnel that's pretty okay. And again, you know, my next... I mean, CX2 will probably be relicked relatively soon.
So crazy.
I know. It's like, it's ridiculous. Hopefully he can do like tier 3 and 4 on his own or something. But even like Omega Fugitive, you know, I've been doing 10 battles a day. I'm probably actually going to slow that down because I don't need her that fast. So 100
where are you at with
36. Her? She's at 36 of 100. So times 3 divided by 5. I'm looking at 40 days to get her to 7-star if I don't refresh her. And I think I am going to stop the refreshes on her. So I feel like, you know, I'm going to be building up these relic materials.
I have her at 3 of 100, and I've got Batcher at 80 of 85. But I wasn't doing refreshes of Omega until Batcher caught her.
Sometimes I like to do 1x refresh just to get things over with. I think I am going to stop it because I don't need it, and those extra 25 crystals a day, like, obviously I have a lot in the burner right now, but I do want to see that number increase for possibly the next era to see what's coming up.
Those crystals add up. Like, you think over a month, I mean, that's what, 750 crystals, give or take?
Yeah, 25. The way they do it is times 10. So 25 times 10, yeah, 250 times 3. So 750 crystals. Those do add up, especially if it's multiple farms. And it does matter. Especially,
too, I think with is it better to spend 25s on Omega or 50s on Wrecker or Crosshair, depending on where you're at? Which are the ones that are going to be more important? Yes. Yes, especially because Hunter going to the Cantina, you have a pretty good inclination that Wrecker and Crosshair are going to go to nodes. Yes. And then I've said this to people before, like Hunter, I do all signal data, and then during my midday, I just do 9 battles on him. Because I don't see a reason to cut off my signal data right now. And it's psychological. It doesn't matter if I do it my way or the other way, but I'd rather have a consistent flow rather than cut off the faucet if I need signal data now, especially because I don't need him right now. Like, I have no purpose for him. He's the last one I'll get to 7-star. Like once everybody else is there, then I'll farm that node. Until then, it's signal data away.
So yeah, so you're in that camp of like cut it off, but not until the last minute.
Yes. Yeah.
Which,
and
fine.
yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, the way I try to see it is if they released bonus drops of Hunter for the sake of argument.
Okay.
Whatever resource they're going to give me, unless it's signal data, I'm not going to need it.
Yeah,
like Zetas or the... Like, you're in the same boat as me, right? You don't need any of that stuff.
Zetas I'm starting to get low on. Like, I don't even know Jocasta. I don't even know if I'm going to get her Zetas tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait and see how other people use her. And see if she's useful. Outside of Mace Windu.
Her right. I can't gear her right away, not because I don't have the relics. I won't have the signal data because I just did Enoch.
Yeah, I'm gonna take her to G12 because that's what I pretty much take anyone to, and I'll see how she does. I have 145 Zetas. That's not a lot at our level, especially when all of these new marquees have had 2 Zetas, and that has hurt.
But you also, like, I don't have CX2 Zeta equipped. I do have Oppos.
Yeah,
but, I don't have any of the new. I don't have any new Bad Batch Zetas.
I just figured I'm gonna be using them. I might as well just do it early.
See, that's normally where I'm at, but I've always tried to rational it by if it doesn't offer me any benefit, there's no reason to have the Zeta.
That's fair.
Like, and that's again your way, my way. It doesn't really matter. And that's like, again, this always goes back to like the beauty of you and I. We're both going to tell everybody the same thing. Doesn't really matter.
Farm Jabbo.
Yeah, like, please.
Let's see.
God, do that.
What is M3 bitching about? I have 70, Apo 70 stars from 7 stars. CX2 is almost 6. Batcher and Omega R5 is Hunter's being held off while I get Cassian R8. I've screwed up on oh man. You advanced up your conquest. That's what you did. Oh my god, that guy. I gotta show you his account at some point. No, I've been helping him, so I've been logging into his account, and it's just a mess. It is.
Oh god.
It's the biggest mess of an account. No, it's just so, like, it's the last day of Conquest, and he doesn't even have the first, like, he just doesn't even play. And I'm like, why do you even... Why do you spend so much time? Why do you spend so much time on a game that you don't play?
Dude, I was surprised. Like, I mean, I used to play it. There's 2 guys. God bless their souls, too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They just recognize that they're not competitive players. They still enjoy the game, but they're not competitive. So they joined a guild that gets, it's mediocre. Like, and mediocre for, like, small guild mediocre.
Okay.
But they love it, right? They're happy.
But they probably don't, like, participate on Discord and Reddit. Like, they probably have a fully casual game lifestyle in the game, right?
I don't know. I mean, I talk to them pretty regularly. So they're not, like, I would not say that, I'd say they probably got burnt out more so than anything. They were in some very competitive guilds for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they got burnt out from just what that expectation was.
Okay.
And I think some of that too was my last guild. We were pretty good, but we were propped up by probably 10 to 15 players who made us great. And then we had like 20 to 25 good players and then like 10 bad ones.
Yeah.
And it just, I think that set some expectations for people that weren't realistic moving forward.
Well, this is a whole thing I could talk for like 8 hours on, right? Is when I talk about like the time expectation of the game, and when people give me shit about doing TB Omicrons, it's about being a competitive player with the least amount of effort possible. And when I talk to like my martial arts students, my karate students, I talk to them about the difference between laziness and efficiency, right? Laziness is when you don't want to do shit. Efficiency is when you don't want to do shit and you find the least effort you can put into something to make it great, right? So like that is my whole goal, is make my account as great as possible with the least amount of effort possible. So yeah, like I'm gonna auto TB, I'm gonna auto the raid when I can auto the raid, but I'm gonna understand my account to what I can do on auto, what I can't do on auto, what I need to do, what I don't need to do, what I have to play, what I don't have to play. You know, like the GCs, the current GC, where is it? This thing.
The ship with the you like have to not use any reinforcements or something.
Yeah, I did it with Home 1. Profundy does it too, but I did it with Home 1 on auto. But gain stealth 10 times. I know that's easy. Everyone's like, oh, just use this, and then you just hit this, and you do that, and you do this thing. Stealth is always that pain in the ass one where there's like a little bit of RNG involved, and you have to play it manually. I don't give a shit, right? Like, I'm just not going to do it, because why spend those 15 minutes when I'm already level 47 on the episode pass? Right, and once you get to the bonus track, the amount of currents you get as an average is not that great. So it's not worth that time to me. You know, and that's how I do with those GCs. Is I do the things that are easy. I do the things that I have to do. But then if there's something that's like a pain in the ass, I go, it's not worth it. It's not worth my time.
It's funny when I'm like lost in GAC, or I know like one of the things that I've said this for years, right? That they need to fix something about Grand Arena, and one of the biggest things is incentivizing you to play when you're completely mismatched or whatever else. Because I put up like 10 banners, maybe I cleared the team, probably cleared the team and did nothing else. So I scored like 65 or whatever.
Okay,
that is a massive problem for Capital Games, because I'm not interacting with the game at that point. Really, like, in the sense of what they'd want, that's not what's happening.
Of course. Yeah.
And it goes into that whole, like, efficiency debate where I know I'm not going to win, so I'm not going to spend an hour playing GAC. I'll go spend that doing Conquest or Territory Battles or Territory Wars, or just go spend time with my family.
I like how you put the game, 3 things in the game you put above your family. That's interesting, and it says a lot.
Yeah, 100%. They're way below it. Come on now.
Obviously.
The penny per video on YouTube obviously outweighs my family life.
Well, I heard that you were going to read your daughter's a bedtime story today, but you decided to do this instead.
Oh yeah, dude. My wife had a friend over.
Yeah.
So I was putting them to sleep, and they both fell asleep, and so I came down, plugged everything in, and then I go to my wife and I'm like, both girls are awake and upstairs. I'm giving up. Have fun. And then she just looks at me. She's like, "Shut up! No, you didn't." And then told her that they're all tucked in with pillows surrounding them.
So your wife is upstairs. She has a friend over. Yes. Yes, right now.
Yes.
Like right now. Yeah. Okay. So did you have to explain to this friend? Does this friend know that you're such a nerd that you have a YouTube channel and you're down here recording a White Boy podcast?
My wife loves to tell people I have a YouTube channel to make fun of me.
I love her. I love your wife already.
She and the worst part is, like, she introduced me to somebody as Fat Phil. Like, that, it was like, she's like, yeah, this is my husband. He has a YouTube channel, and he calls himself Fat Phil. And so they call me Fat Phil. And I'm like, God, like, that's not.
Oh,
no,
my God. I love it. I love it. I love it. I actually had a parent at the dojo last week come in, and they go, I saw one of your aliases online. And in my head, I was like, oh, fuck. And she goes, hello, Egnarts. So I go, in my head, I go, oh, fuck. But it turns out that she doesn't know anything about it. Like, if she Googled Egnard, she'd probably find this shit. I don't think she did. Yep. I think that what happened was because she has my phone number and she does Duolingo. On Duolingo, I'm Egnards. And the reason I'm Egnards on Duolingo is because I buy a family plan and I sell all of the slots to people online. So I don't want them to have my real name. So she got confused. She's like, who's this Egnards person? And she was able to match it up to my phone number. So I don't actually think she knows about this stuff, but it scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, God damn it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously everybody knows my first name's Phil. I mean, I feel like that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, well,
you know.
My name is in my business, so it makes it a little bit harder, but
no, I get
me,
it. Yeah, I've given up.
I had a guy at my wedding who I played Star Wars: The Old Republic with, and to this day, I haven't talked to him in a few years, but to this day, I call him Turk. And at my wedding, he was like, "Hey, Egg, how's it going?" And he knows my name. He knows who I am. But it's just weird for me to call him Mike, and it's weird for him to call me by my name.
Dude, there's guys I played Xbox with for years, and you still would learn their names, and that's not what you would call them.
And you're like, that's not your name.
Yeah.
That's not your name at all.
Or even like, and then of course, like with guys, there's a couple who get known by like their last name, and that's that, just their last name.
As a teacher, I will tell you that certain kids are first name kids, and you just know based on their name. They're first name kids, they're last name kids, they're Mr. last name kids, or they're both name kids. And it's just, it depends on what the name is. But some kids, you're like, hello, Mr. Jane, or like Mr. Jane Doe, or whatever their name is. Yep. It just, whatever it is, the first day you see them, you go, yes, that's how I'm going to call you from now on.
I'm more of a nickname guy. I learned that from my dad.
Buddy, pal, tiger, friend.
No, like, so my dad coached like us in soccer, and everybody had a nickname. So like the one guy was like Zack Attack.
Yeah.
Or another kid's name was Ryan, so we called him Rye Bread. Or there was a kid who was Justin. He was the Justice League. Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch. Prince Will. Like he just whatever, he came up with all of these like really funny names that all fit, right? That like, some of them were very clever and other ones were like, all right, I just can't come up with a good one for you. But yeah, it was my favorite of all time, of course, was Marky Mark and a Funky Bunch. Like that was just so funny.
I had a kid in my class last year that I called Moose. I don't know why. He didn't look like an actual literal moose, but like, like when you look at someone and you're like, that's your name. So I called him Moose the whole year and he was fine with it. He's like, yeah, cool. So all year it was, hey, Moose.
That kid will go by Moose for like the rest of his life.
He might, and that's fine. I hope that at his wedding he's like, you know why they call me Moose? Yeah. And that's great. I'm there for it.
I had a coach. There are two brothers, and the one always called. He was. They went by their last name. Both of them went by their last name.
Okay. And
that obviously became a problem because they were both similar in age. So, like, you can't have two of the same of them. And so the one said, no, I'm, like, Big Smith. Right? And then, so the one guy comes in the one day and he's like, you are Big Smith and you are Little Smith. And Big stuck. So, like, he was big. The parents called him Big. Everybody, he was just Big. Doesn't even say the last name anymore. And then the other guy, obviously, he killed the little thing when he was like, I'm not getting known as Little Smith.
I'm not a rapper.
Yeah, and so he just went by like his regular name, but it was still very funny that Big stuck, and to this day, I call him Big.
Sometimes that shit hits for years. I have a buddy, I mean, I'm gonna get canceled for saying this, but he's a good friend of mine. We call him Juju. And for obvious reasons. But it's a name that he introduces himself as to people. I see him, I give him a big hug. I'm like, hey, Juju, how are you? And that's
So,
just
so you must like to
who
do
he
TikTok
is.
dances, right?
I don't have a TikTok, so I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you, but you and I were having this discussion earlier. Like the last time I saw him was months ago, because adults with friend relationships, you never see your friends ever.
Yeah. Oh, it's just what happens.
It's getting old. That's what it is. It's people getting old. With that said, though, man, I got work in the morning. It's almost 11 o'clock. You did your Omicron. You're doing the rest of the team eventually soon. We have a dead Wampa. I have the Burninator video. I'll try to post that somewhere on Discord. I appreciate you doing this with me because it was just fun. And I look forward to more of this shit in the future.
Fun is the best part. I actually think we need to get our guilds to meet up in territory wars. That'll be the real test. The only territory war either guild tries in.
Either of us will care at. My guild is like, okay, bye. Territory wars, who gives a shit?
Hype it up.
I think if I were playing a territory wars against a guild that's very similar in conviction and it was for fun like that, we would maybe get behind it. But otherwise, we are very much like this is the worst kind of group.
My guild would 100% go all in on you guys just to avenge what happened
to you.
Yeah, like they were like, oh, he got to do 2 days of Haven. That's not right. An extra day of Mandalore. That's not fair.
Well, did you say, well, that's because you don't even let me do combats, you piece of shits.
I took multiple rogue actions this TV. It was a problem. And it's like such a bad example because I'm an officer. So like it's even worse.
You know what though? Like if your guild didn't, like the people in your guild didn't get it, then it is like my guild was like, what do you need? What do you need me to do? Like what operations do you need me to take over? And I was like, I don't. I'm good. I already have a plan. I already know what's happening.
Yeah. I only had to rearrange one, and that was my Ben Solo in phase like 3. Just so I had him for the Ufu mission.
I didn't. My platoons now, to finish up, my one thing in TB now is finding more teams that allow me to platoon more GLs to help out the not as smart people. So like the Bad Batch, maybe.
Relic 9.
I know. I just can't.
Amidala Relic 9.
I don't need to. Maybe one day. Maybe.
That'll be your GAC punishment.
Because Ring of Kafrene is not even where I'm worried about it, because a lot of the people who do, most of the people in my guild can't do tons of Ring of Kafrene missions. So if they have an R9, it's like 1 or 2 GLs, not the whole team.
Gotcha.
So it's like the day 4 and 5 where there's like R7, R8s, and where people are still doing missions. That is where I'd look to shore up some more of my GLs. But that's it. Guys, I appreciate you enjoying this TB Wave War. I know Phil has told me that people have enjoyed it on his side. I've seen it on his Discord. I've seen it on our Discord. We just like to have fun. We'd like to do silly shit, unique shit. If for some reason that you are following me and not Phil, well, then you probably like good takes, not bad takes.
Yeah.
He is the king of bad takes, and the conspiracy theorist Gungi's award recipient from last year. Theorist.
Apparently now for making the DEI hire joke, I'm also like blacklisted by somebody too. So
by some random person. Well, that's what we actually gave you the DEI conspiracy theorist award. Bones was gonna win it, but we needed somebody white. So we were like, let's get Fat Phil in there. We haven't met our quota of straight male white content creators in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes yet. So let's give Fat Phil the fucking award. There we go. That's how I burn my my content creator card as well. But I appreciate you guys coming out tonight and catch him. Well, actually, I don't have a brunch next week because I'm working. Catch Phil every day. This is all he does.
don't do anything with the family. Just YouTube.
Not at all. YouTube all day, every day. Peace out, everybody.